LEIGHTDICKEY.com. Do you have an event or occasion coming up that could use a special touch? Perhaps a wedding, a production, a show? Good! Then you're in luck. Hayley Moores is who you're looking for. Hayley is a makeup artist in the Toronto, Ontario area, specializing in bridal, glam, natural, and special effects. She's incredibly talented, professional, easy to work with, and has a personality that is second to none. To book Hayley Moores today, follow her on Instagram at mad_milash, that's MAD_MILASH, or email her at madmilash, again, that's MADMILASH @gmail.com. Book Hayley Moores today, you'll be glad you did. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. Do you find yourself reminiscing on what life was like when you were younger? Do your favorite songs, movies, and TV shows instantly take you back to a simpler time? Great! Then you're in the right place. Join me, Leigh Dickey, on my new web series and podcast, Yo Nostalgia, where I cover everything you grew up with. From films and toys to fads and trends, Yo Nostalgia has it all. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever podcasts are available. Follow along on social media at Yo Nostalgia Show to keep up on this time-traveling trip. Yo Nostalgia, breathing new life into your memories, available everywhere now. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. Do you enjoy good conversation? Are you a person with many passions? Perfect. Then the Beats and Speaks podcast is for you. Join me, Leigh Dickey, every Friday for stories and interviews about everyday life with everyday people about everyday things. Everyone has a story, and I just want to help them tell it. The Beats and Speaks podcast, your everyday life, everyday stories, everyday people, comedy and entertainment audio joyride. Subscribe and download on LEIGHTDICKEY.com, Leigh Dickey TV on YouTube, and your favorite podcast app. The Beats and Speaks podcast, available everywhere now. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. LEIGHTDICKEY.com. What's going on, everybody? Leigh Dickey here. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. Today, this week, I want to tell you why I almost always, or for the majority of the time, wear a hat when I'm recording an episode or vocals for voiceover or just music. Anything I do, if I have to use my voice and have to record into a microphone, I'm going to tell you why I record almost always using or wearing a hat of any kind, like a baseball cap. But before we get into that, I want to tell you where you can find the Beats and Speaks podcast. Of course, new episodes of the Beats and Speaks podcast are released every single Friday on my official website, LEIGHTDICKEY.com, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and wherever podcasts are available. So please do comment, like, share, and subscribe. We're also on YouTube under Leigh Dickey TV. Please go visit there as well and subscribe if you will, please and thank you. Rate us 5 stars and leave us reviews too. That is greatly appreciated. If you have topics, questions, comments, or anything you want me to talk about here on the Beats and Speaks podcast, please do send an email to LeighTDickey@gmail.com. Follow along with me and the show at LeighTDickey. All right, all that information will be in the description down below. Now that all that housekeeping is out of the way, let's get into the main event, get into why you are really here, and that is why I wear a hat almost always every time I record. Right here, right now, on the Beats and Speaks podcast. Alright, so yes, why I almost always, if not every time, wear a baseball hat every time I record vocals, whether it's an episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast or voiceover or just anything that has to do with my voice, why I almost always wear a baseball cap. And the short answer is it just helps the headphones stay in place better. And I figured that out ages ago when I was, still working full time and not on a freelance basis in radio, even when I was doing, voiceover work for companies, if I wear a baseball hat, it helps the headphones stay on my head better. It keeps them in place, therefore I don't have to worry about them moving around, and the recording I get the job done quicker, B, the recording sounds cleaner, and there's less rustling around that you hear on the mic. And like my main microphone, because I'm almost always on the go in some capacity, when I record, say, the Beats and Speaks podcast, I'm using a pair of Sony stereo headphones with a mic attached towards the left side, like towards my left ear. So it just makes it easier if I wear a baseball hat to have the headphones stay in place. That way I can give you guys a clean recording and get these episodes done. Just knock them out, boom, 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 boom. Just knock them out in one take. This is like Mike Tyson podcasting, because I'm coming in with my hands up and I'm coming in to hit home runs every single time. So to wear a baseball cap just makes it easier for me, because the headphones, they stay in place that way. I mean, I've tried over the years to record without a baseball cap, and when I'm using these Sony headphones, because they're my main mic, because as I said, I'm mainly on the go now, but to record voiceover, I have other microphones that I use, like other sort of lapel mics or dynamic recording vocal mics that I have in my house and in my recording space. So, but when I'm mainly on the go, it's the Sony headphones with the mic attached to the 3.5 millimeter cable, right? That way the mic comes with me, and this mic sounds amazing, honestly, for it being on a set of headphones that are relatively inexpensive. They're really not that much. I think I got these for $25 about 6 or 7 years ago. They range from anywhere from $25 to $46, depending on which day you get them, and they're just amazing. They're an amazing pair of headphones, and I love how the mic sounds on them, so that's why I use them so much. But getting back to wearing a baseball cap, like, just the main goal with these podcasts that I record, whether it be the Beats and Speaks podcast or Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast, or Yo Nostalgia, the idea is to, if it's an audio only show like the Beats and Speaks podcast is, and for the most part Pinfall, a pro wrestling podcast, obviously you want the mic to be in one still one steady, one stagnant position, so that when I talk, it goes in clearly, the signal chain is uninterrupted, and the episode goes off without a hitch. And that's what you want. The goal with anything I do, I don't want to do multiple takes of. I mean, I have had to do multiple takes of various, like, voiceover things. I don't like doing multiple takes. Let's just get these one and done, treat it as if it's live, because I got one shot at this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing. That's partially like how I handle that's part of the production flow, and wearing a baseball hat makes it easier, because it just, I never thought I'd say this, but wearing a baseball hat makes the recording process a whole lot easier. I didn't think it would make a lot of difference, and then I tried wearing these headphones recently without a baseball cap, and they just were sliding a couple times. I couldn't really sit comfortably in the chair that I'm sitting in. Now that I've got the baseball cap back on, I'm having no issues. The mic is staying in one spot, the headphones are staying on my head, and you guys are getting one clean take from me right now, right here on the Beats and Speaks podcast. And that's the idea. I just want to give you guys clean audio, a clean run, one shot, one take. Let's knock this out and move on to the next thing. Let's move on to the next episode. So wearing a baseball hat, it's something I've always done. I don't know. I've always been attracted to baseball hats, and I guess, like, people have told me I have the head for baseball hats, that I make it look good, or that they make me look good. Either way, I look good wearing a baseball hat. Fine, good, great. But it's just something I've always done. Like, I've always been a fan of baseball, and with the Blue Jays being, Canada's lone MLB team, and, my dad was a big fan of baseball, so we go to baseball games all the time. Same thing with my mom too. And just baseball hats were always something that I wore. It was sort of a fashion statement. It was something to look cool, and I always gravitated towards wearing a baseball hat. So when I discovered that wearing one would keep headphones in place so I could record, whether it's any vocals for music, voiceover work, or, podcast episodes, or radio interviews, or interviews of any kind, TV, if I have to, make an appearance from where I am now to like a station that's a little further away, and we're doing this via Skype. It's just, that's how things get done, and that's how, easy this whole process has become with the advent of me wearing a baseball cap here, just to give you guys clean recordings and a clean sound. That's sort of like, it was kind of like an epiphany, like the heavens opened up and here we go. Wear a baseball hat and this will make the production process a whole lot easier, and it has. I can't knock that whatsoever. It's just great to have it. It's great to have discovered it. I don't know whether or not anybody else has felt that way, but if you have, let me know down in the comments. That's amazing to just like, hey, do you have a baseball cap? Cool. Put it on and then put these headphones on. And if you're using the inline mic like I am with these Sony headphones, the headphones will stay in place. That way you can get a clean sound. The signal is uninterrupted, and it'll just make the editing process and the post-production process a whole lot easier, because I do, mix and then master these episodes in my own way once the raw recording is done. So to have a clean signal flow, a clean signal chain, just because of wearing a baseball cap to keep headphones in place so they don't rustle around, you don't hear that on the recording at all, and I can just knock these out, cool, great, and then edit them when I get the chance or when the opportunity comes up. That way we can just boom, 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 again, knock these out, move on to the next thing. And that's the whole goal, is to produce as much in a short period of time to just get ahead of schedule. I want to be ahead of the curve. I want to be, ready to go whenever the next thing comes up. Plus, it gives me an opportunity to knock out so many episodes in such a short time window. It gives me an opportunity to get back to other things that I'm passionate about, like music, like voiceover work, like, just if I want to take a day off, which is rare, I can do that. If I want to relax a little bit, I can do that, because I'm entitled to relax every now and again. So that is another thing that a baseball cap will do for me, and it'll make my production flow a whole lot easier, which means I can knock out more episodes for you guys, and I can knock them out in a short period of time, in a short time window, edit them, get them uploaded, get them ready to go. That way I don't have to worry about them, week by week by week by week, which is what I would normally do. It's like, okay, so we're coming up on Friday, I need an episode, I gotta knock one out really quickly. But because I'm so far ahead of schedule now that, it's sort of like a blessing. And the fact that a baseball cap is the simplest thing you could wear to keep headphones in place with a great sounding mic on them, because I don't know what it is. This Sony mic and these Sony headphones, probably one of the best, if not the best pair of headphones with a microphone that I've used ever. Granted, if I need to do voiceover, I will go into my own little recording setup that I have in my house, or I'll use, say, like a lapel mic that goes directly into a smartphone, or, I do have a lapel mic that I can use with, my proper recording setup, my mixer, and then the stand and my mic stand and what have you. But when a baseball cap is as integral to your production setup and your production flow, it's an invaluable tool. Now, granted, a lot of people are like, you look better without the baseball cap. Some people say I look good with a baseball cap. I love wearing baseball caps anyway, but the fact that they are an invaluable tool in my production setup and in my production flow and cycle, if you will, I'm going to keep wearing one just to keep headphones in place, to give you guys clean episodes, clean takes, a clean run. Therefore, you get more and more content. I can keep pumping things out quickly, easily, and in top-notch form. But I thank you guys for listening to this week's episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. This wraps it up. Please do comment, like, share, and subscribe. Find us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, my official website, LEIGHTDICKEY.com, YouTube under Leigh Dickey TV, and wherever podcasts are available. Please do comment, like, share, and subscribe. Rate us 5 stars and leave us reviews too, if you would, please and thank you. To follow along with me and the show, follow on social media at LEIGHTDICKEY. And if you have comments, questions, guest requests, or any topics you want me to discuss right here on the Beats and Speaks podcast, please do email them to LEIGHTDICKEY@gmail.com. All right, I've been Leigh Dickey. This wraps up another episode of the Beats and Speaks podcast. Thank you all for listening. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. LEIGHTDICKEY.com